Yeah, so what I was talking about at the conference today was the BALANCE program, a program that is a problem behavior prevention program. We're trying to get in there early with younger kids who have been diagnosed with autism and get in there really before problem behavior has a chance to get severe and teach some skills really proactively to try to prevent that from happening. My colleagues and I have spent most or all of our careers treating individuals who engage in really dangerous problem behavior. And while we certainly are advancing our technology for treating those problems effectively, it would be so much better if we didn't get to that point at all. It's not fast, it's not easy to do those treatments. Having those repertoires of severe problem behavior are obviously really hard on the client, their families, their communities. And so the question for us really was, okay, so although, certainly not all autistic people engage in dangerous problem behavior, the research does suggest that dangerous behavior, these repertoires, are more prevalent in that population. We also know that the age of diagnosis in the US is about 4 years old, and early interventions typically recommended as soon as autism is suspected. And so it would seem like a big function of these early intervention services would be to prevent these repertoires of severe problem behavior from developing. But we encounter so many individuals who do have these repertoires of severe problem behavior, including many who did attend early intervention services. So the question really is, why as a field are we not better at preventing that from happening? There are a lot of reasons, but I believe that it's not just a matter of getting more kids access to early intervention services. I think it's also a matter of recognizing as a field that there are particular sets of skills that, when taught to people who do engage in severe problem behavior, reduce or eliminate that problem behavior. And so it would make sense logically that if we can get in there early and teach those skills proactively in an intensive way, that we may be able to prevent that. And I think as a field we have some work to do in terms of embracing doing that proactive, intensive teaching early on. It's a curriculum that has components that have been demonstrated in the literature many times before, but it's important to me, of course, that it be replicated. And my colleague, Carla Croy, is working on a replication right now, and two really cool things about that study that I'm jazzed about. One, they're doing a completely telehealth model, so the BCBA is never in person with the parent and the child. They are coaching via Zoom with the parent having an earpiece in the ear, and then also doing some asynchronous support where the parent will upload a video of them working with the child, and the BCBA can either write back comments or arrange a call based on that video. So I think that's very cool in terms of expanding access to this kind of program and just to services in general. And then the other really cool thing about it is that she's using a waitlist control group. And the reason for that is because I think that it's probably not possible to really demonstrate preventive effects using a single subject design. And there's a cool study from 2013 by Lazinski and Hanley where they used this group's design for a preschool life skills program. What they did is they randomly assigned kids to the waitlist group, control group, and to the PLS group. These were mostly typically developing preschoolers. Then the PLS group obviously went through PLS. The control group did not. They had sort of like preschool as usual. And then when exposed again to the same sorts of like kind of typical preschool challenging situations at post that they had at baseline, what they found was that problem behavior was eliminated for the PLS kids, but not only was it not eliminated for the control group kids, it was actually worse on average. And so we start to gather some more evidence that there's some prevention going on there, in the absence of which things might not just improve on their own and in fact might get worse. And so I think it's really important to be doing that with balance, and that's what Cara and her team are doing now, which is really cool. Yeah, I mean, certainly replications of this process. I also know that in clinical practice, I've talked to and worked with people who are using the BALANCE program in other settings and with other implementers. Our original study was in the home with parents as primary implementers, but I know that people do it in clinics and in centers and in schools with RBTs and educational assistants as implementers, and I think that it would be nice if that showed up in the literature. We also certainly need longer term follow-up on the kids who have gone through this program.